Page 15, the wind. Eighth notes all over the place. 4/4 time, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now there's no sharps and flats in the key signatures. We have a few accidentals. I'm going to take both hands together because most of the time it's one or the other hand playing. So at the beginning, the left hand starting here and your second finger's on E. You're not in a 5-finger position, you're up here. And the right hand, you're up here. They're next to each other. So it's 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. You see the stems in the eighth notes, the first 4 eighth notes, the stems are down. It tends to indicate the left hand. Not always, but a lot of times it does. So use on this piece, yeah, the stem's going down like that, use the left hand. The stem's going up, use the right hand. You can do 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, it's up to you because you got time to move around because you're waiting for the other hand to finish. So keep the third measure. That's together. It's A and then here. Or if this doesn't work for you, then do a 1, 4, 2, 3. Here. I do that quite a bit. It comes in really handy. Next line is just all eighth notes. But the fingering, watch out, because we're going to kind of go down here. You can't do a 1, 3, because then you're out of position. You need another note. So do a 1, 2. You can do a 4 or a 3. I prefer a 4 because that's the chord. Then you can do a 1, 3, 5 going up. And then the right hand has got to be 1, 2, 4 because you have a D. So you can't use 1, 3, 5 on a lot of these. So it's watch out. And again, 1, 2, 4. Then 1, 3, 5. Then 1, 2, 4. And then 1, 3, 5. Now it's 1, 3, 5. So that second line here, that's what it is. That's what. Then go back up. It's 1, 3, 5 here, but 1, 2, 4 here. So you kind of work out each direction. So the going first, you'll go down. Then we go up. Now we go down again. Again, same fingering I used before. And then go back up. Same fingering we used before. Now you can do the 1, 3, 5. And we're back to what we were doing at the beginning. And then the last line. Oh, look out. You're playing the same notes in every measure, you're just doing it at different octaves. So you're starting out, the notes are written here. Same notes we've been playing, huh? Except at the 8VA under, it sends it down an octave, so you're down here. If you have a short keyboard, and you don't have those notes, go as low as your keyboard allows you, and you go as high as your keyboard allows you, and that's good enough. But if you have a full keyboard, you're down here. And as the right hand is playing, bring the left hand over because you're here next time. You want to be ready. The right hand, bring it up again because you got an 8VA above it now. And then the last 2 measures. What is going on here? A flute player will tell you all about this one. Figure them out. And once you have them figured out, memorize them or write them in. I think you should know the notes above or below a staff up to 3 ledger lines. You should just, because you can see 3 ledger lines. It's like that in the next to the last measure. Now first, I can see there's 3 ledger lines there. So I know those notes. It's an E, F, E. Here, except the 8VA sends it up here. Here. But I know that's an E, F, E. But the last, that's too many ledger lines. I can't glance at that and know how many there are. I have to count it out. So start with the first ledger line is here, an A. 2, C, 3, 4. Then the 5th ledger line, one of those notes is on the 5th one, that would be a B. And the other note is right under it, which would be an A. So it's an A and a B, but the 8VA sends it up. So you're here. So it's an EFE with the left hand. No, just turn and reach. Don't lean. Turn and reach as best you can. And then an A and a B. You take a pencil and you write in the note names, A and B, next to those notes so you know what they are. You don't have to figure them out every time. So that last line, eighth note's even. Here. And don't forget the quarter rest. That's important too, huh? Now, once you get that, then we go back. As far as the slurring and all goes, that's fine if you want to do it. The pedal's going to cover it all up. But it's a good idea to do the technique anyway. It's like taking a breath. You know, it's like you're feeling the music. Whether you can hear what you're feeling or not, you're still feeling the music. And the second line, fermata on that. When I do it with a metronome, I'll just double it and hold it for 6 counts instead of 3. And you're saying, why is that 6 counts? Well, did you notice at the beginning of the second line we changed to 3/4 time? Through your curve. And if you didn't notice, don't worry about it, because I didn't notice either. I just once the pulse starts, it just continues. Those eighth notes are going to be a steady pulse, regardless of what the time signature is. So we're in 3/4 here, and then we go back to 4/4 in the next measure. And then at the bottom, this is all even. Then you can add the dynamics. Moderately loud, and this is both hands here. Whatever you think moderately loud is. Second line now, you're soft. But you're going to crescendo up to a loud, but you're not going to get loud until the next line on the dotted half note fermata. That's loud. So you have to plan this out or you'll be loud by the second or third measure, the second line. That's too soon. So I'm going to take it maybe every phrase here. Here, each one of those will get just a hair louder, not much. So this is soft. This is just a hair louder. A little louder. A little louder. Now you're medium loud. Now you're loud. So I saved most of the getting loud till right before it. So there's very little change going on in loudness in the second line. You're staying pretty much on the soft side. That's loud. And then all of a sudden, because you give it time to die away, it's a fermata, and now you're very soft. And the last line, you start very soft, and you're going to crescendo up to extremely loud. I mean, like forte, it's 3 Fs. Here. Well, you can't do 3 Fs that high on a piano. That's silly. But in your mind, think 3 Fs. Really loud. So you just get louder. Very soft here. Like each measure. Very soft, going up into soft. By the time I get to the third measure, I want to be medium loud or loud up in that area. So it's... Whatever. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what they wrote. Okay. Speed-wise, in a gusting manner, it's about as fast as I've been playing, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I think that's about as fast as it could go. So maybe a little faster, but about that. It's got to be accurate. The eighth note's got to be even. Then they add pedal. Well, it's a wind. We want it to sound like wind, so everything's getting all mushy and gusted and whatever. It's legato pedal throughout most of it. But let's talk about the pedal. The first line is all legato pedal. At the end of the line, I lift it up with the hands before I go on, so we get a little silence before we go to the second line. So it's here. Change. Play the notes first and then change the pedal. lift it up with the hands, a little silence, and then again, we're changing it pretty much each measure, but it's legato pedaling. So you do it after you play the notes in the measure, change the pedal. And then on the dotted half note fermata, you lift it up with the hands, a little silence before we go on, and just like it was at the beginning. There's a fermata on that. I'm going to hold that 4 counts instead of 2, 4, 2, whatever. And then the last line, you lift it up before you play. At the end of the third line, lift it up with the hands. We get silence, and now you're going to hold it down for the whole last line because it's a gust of wind. And that's 4 counts, no fermata, and you can let go, and everybody will be thankful you did because it sounds terrible in my opinion. And that's the pedal pretty much, pretty straightforward. I'd like to play it with you very slowly, and because the pedal is straightforward as legato, I'm going to leave the pedal out so you can hear the notes more clearly. So let's play it together. I'll give us 4 counts to start very slowly, and we'll try it. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1. And 4 and. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Hold, 2, be patient, go on. 3, 4, hold, 2. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4 off.